Subscribe to our channel and become part of a community passionate about aviation. Here you will find in-depth aeronautical content, legendary aircraft, technical explanations, and inspiring stories that celebrate flight, innovation, and the endless fascination of the sky. The Red Bull Air Race was one of the most impressive competitions ever created in the history of sport aviation, transforming the sky into a true three-dimensional racing track. Conceived in the early 2000s, the idea was born from the desire to take aerobatic flying beyond traditional demonstrations, creating a competitive format that combines speed, technical precision, and a high-level controlled risk. The result was a unique spectacle, capable of attracting millions of spectators around the world and redefining how aviation could be perceived by the general public. Unlike conventional races, the air race was not limited to a horizontal plane. Pilots competed against the clock on courses formed by inflatable pylons, known as air gates, suspended in the air and arranged in complex trajectories. Each pass required perfect aircraft alignment, with strict limits on roll angle, altitude, and speed. Any minimal deviation resulted in penalties that could compromise the entire run. The margin for error was virtually non-existent, making the competition one of the most demanding ever seen in world sport. The aircraft used were extremely light and highly modified machines, true flying laboratories. Models such as the Edge 540, the MXSR, and the Zivco Edge were prepared to respond instantly to pilot inputs, with engines producing more than 300 horsepower and structures reduced to the absolute minimum. These aircraft reached speeds exceeding 370 kilometers per hour while enduring intense G-forces, similar to those experienced by fighter pilots. Each flight was a precise combination of engineering, physical training, and total concentration. The human factor was always at the heart of the Red Bull Air Race. Pilots were not only highly experienced aviators, but also complete athletes, subjected to rigorous physical and mental training routines. Reading the course had to be instantaneous, as in just a few seconds a pilot passed through several gates, adjusting power, bank angle, and trajectory in fractions of a second. A delay of mere milliseconds could mean the difference between victory and defeat. Psychological pressure was constant, especially during the decisive stages of the championship. Another striking element of the competition was its setting. Races took place in spectacular locations, often in the middle of major cities or iconic natural landscapes. Rivers, bays, ports, and historic centers became stages for aircraft flying at extremely low altitudes, creating images that became symbolic of the event. Budapest, Abu Dhabi, Porto, Chiba, and Rio de Janeiro are just a few examples of cities whose skies were transformed into sporting arenas, drawing massive crowds along the race courses. Over the course of its seasons, the Red Bull Air Race revealed great names in world sport aviation. Pilots such as Paul Bonhomme, considered one of the greatest in the competition's history, Hannes Arch, known for his controlled aggressiveness, and Matthias Dolder, a world champion, raised the technical level of the championship. The battles were intense and often decided by tiny time differences, which further increased the dramatic appeal of the races. As the years went by, however, the competition began to face significant challenges. The high cost of maintaining competitive teams, the logistical complexity of building courses in urban areas, and increasingly strict safety requirements made the project progressively more expensive. In addition, Red Bull, as both sponsor and organizer, began to reassess its global strategies, redirecting investments to other sporting events and entertainment platforms. In 2019 came the announcement that surprised fans and pilots alike. That season would be the last of the Red Bull Air Race. The decision was not driven by a lack of audience or relevance, but by a strategic choice combined with the financial and operational difficulties of sustaining the championship over the long term. The final season was marked by strong emotion, with tributes to the pilots, the teams, and the history built over nearly 2 decades. The end of the Red Bull Air Race marked the conclusion of a singular era in sport aviation. The competition left an important technical legacy, influencing precision flying training, air shows, and even safety concepts for operations in urban environments. More than that, it showed the world that aviation could be competitive, thrilling, and accessible to the general public without losing its technical rigor. Today, the Red Bull Air Race lives on in the memory of fans as an unrepeatable spectacle. Its impact goes far beyond the races themselves. It redefined the relationship between human skill, machine performance, and the aerial environment. Even though it has ended, the competition remains a reference for boldness, innovation, and excellence, reminding us that for an extraordinary period, the sky ceased to be just a limit and became a racetrack.